איך הייתי לומדת עברית אם הייתי צריכה ללמוד אותה מחדש מאפס? בואו נדבר על זה. Hey, my name is Leah. If you're new to the channel, welcome and welcome back if you've seen my videos before. I taught myself Hebrew after my Birthright Israel trip, and for some context, I now speak it to the level where Israelis ask me where I did my service in the army because I sound pretty native. Obviously, I make mistakes still and I'm not perfect and I'm still learning. That's the journey of languages. But I've made really good progress, and today we are talking about how I would learn Hebrew again if I had to start over from scratch. Because we love this language with its amazing culture and jokes and music and people and adventures, and it's so worthwhile to learn, but so easy to make mistakes on a language learning journey. And I have tumbled down so many rabbit holes that I just wasted time in. So here is exactly how I would do it again if I had to learn from scratch. Yalla, התחלנו. Where would I start? You start with the alphabet. There are some people who think that you can learn a language to speaking level and you don't need to learn the alphabet, but that's a big mistake. Not learning the alphabet is definitely going to stall your progress. So if you're a native English speaker, you've probably never seen the characters in the Hebrew alphabet before, and it's going to be very strange and unfamiliar to you. That's what you gotta learn first. Thankfully, most sounds in the Hebrew alphabet translate exactly with the letters in the English alphabet, and so you're not gonna have too much trouble. Right now I'm learning Russian, and there are 33 letters in the Russian alphabet and only 26 in English, which means that there's many sounds that I just don't even know how to hear the difference of, let alone shape my mouth for that pronunciation. In the case of Hebrew, there's going to be two, the resh and the chet. And if you want, I'll go into that deeper in another video, or you can find lots of resources already out there on Israeli accent, Hebrew accent, how to do resh and chet. And in general, there's so many good resources for learning the Hebrew Aleph Bet. Just go on YouTube and search it up and you can learn it really fast. Another helpful tip is if you just switch your map settings to Hebrew temporarily just for this exercise and go through all the places that you know on the map, see how it's spelled, you're going to be able to learn from context clues instead of someone spelling it out for you what letters have what sounds. For example, if I go to New York, I'm able to see the letters for New York and learn that way. And that's actually how I taught myself a different Asian alphabet, but I digress. If you try that tip and it's helpful for you, leave a comment below. I would love to know. So the point is, the faster you learn to read in Hebrew, the faster you're going to learn the language. All right, number 2. Next, learn the basic words and phrases. This is going to allow you to interact with the language, even if it's just basic, and it's going to give you a feeling of accomplishment. Plus, so much of the fun of learning a language is speaking with other people, and so this is going to allow you to do that. Some things that I would learn are shalom, להתראות, יאללה, סבבה, מה נשמע, מה קורה, קוראים לי, אחי, נעים מאוד, מאיפה את, מאיפה אתה, כמה זה עולה. There are plenty of videos to learn these basic Hebrew phrases, and I would definitely take the time to start with this. And from there, we move on to number 3. 70% of our daily conversations are made up of only 1,000 most common used words. So if we learn these words, we're going to supercharge our Hebrew. I used a list from Fluent Forever of the 625 words most commonly used in the language and translated those in AnkiDroid, which is a spaced repetition software, Flashcard system. Then I used a website, Florvo, which has natives saying words in their language to add audio to the flashcards, which essentially just give me the exact accent that the Israelis use so that I have proper accent baked into the process from the beginning. This is the most helpful tip that I use to learn this language, and it really brings you from a state of beginner knowing nothing to, okay, I have a basic grasp and understanding. I can start, when interacting with different media, I can start picking up, hey, I know that, or I can understand things, or I can form sentences, or I can think about reality in that language. And this is going to be a huge, huge help. And these resources are free. I will leave the link, I will leave the link below to this list. definitely, that's such a tongue twister. Definitely check it out and make those flashcards and learn these words and get this huge leg up in the language. This is a cheat life hack, and most people don't know about learning language like this, and they don't teach it in schools, which is why no one who graduates from high school Spanish speaks great Spanish. Okay, tip number 4. Learn the conjugations. Hebrew words change based on who is saying them, who is being spoken to, and the amount of people being spoken to. It seems like a lot in the beginning, but it's really helpful that it follows a specific pattern. And once you learn that pattern, it's super simple to recognize when you need to use it and put it into place. So yeah, it's a lot maybe in the beginning to learn, but I promise once you learn it, it's all going to click into place. So keep going with the process. One day you're going to wake up, understand, and be able to formulate the correct conjugation without even having to think about it, or at least faster. Number 5 would be to learn the genders, which is similar to conjugation in the case of Hebrew. Just make sure that you can identify what gender a word is based on the letters that it ends with, and then how to pair that with adjectives for that specific gender. And I'm talking about gendered words. Conjugation is about what gender you are speaking to, because in Hebrew, objects are also referred to as either masculine or feminine. Okay, number 6 is resources that I used that were incredibly helpful. Now listen, there are a lot of resources out there. Some are just better than others. Some are just better than others. So here are some that were really, really monumental in my Hebrew learning journey that I really loved and found value in. The first one, which I'm going to talk about in a later point as well, is HelloTalk. It's a free app that lets you speak with natives in that language. And like I said, I'm going to expand on it more in a later point. So go to point 8 if you want to hear more about that app and how to use it. But HelloTalk, Glossika is another app that was really helpful for learning basic sentences and everyday language. This website that has so many helpful resources for learning Hebrew words and vocabs and jokes and dialogue and stories. And there's just so much packed into this website that you can explore and learn. It's such a valuable resource. And finally, the Piece of Hebrew YouTube channel is really excellent for listening comprehension practice. Okay, number 7 is the most fun tip, and it's throw yourself into the culture. Immersion is so important when you're learning a language. You have to start to listen to the language being spoken at the pace in which people speak regularly to be able to understand in real life and speak to people naturally in real life as well. So listen to music, and I say this in my other videos, but listen to rap. It's so helpful for learning a language because they speak fast and they use a lot of natural language and slang. So you're going to be able to have a much easier time speaking and understanding if you're training your brain with rap. But in general, any music of the language, if you want some recommendations, I have such good ones. So many unique ones and then so many popular ones. Just leave a comment and I'll share with you my favorite artists and my favorite songs. And in terms of content, there's a lot of funny shows, movies, and YouTubers. I have so many recommendations. If you want, again, comment and I'll share them with you. But find YouTubers who speak with slang, find comedians, find people who have really interesting content that you already like to watch in English and just start watching it in Hebrew. And another pro tip is that try to shadow them once you're a little bit past the basics and you have a somewhat of an understanding of what they're saying. Try to shadow them so that your brain gets used to speaking in this sentence structure with this accent at this speed. Shadow basically just means you watch the video and then you repeat exactly what they said, exactly how they said it. And don't worry if in the beginning it sounds really fast to you when you're starting to interact with the content that exists in this language. Over time, it's gonna be natural. You're gonna be able to understand, and you're even gonna start noticing the things you're learning from the previous steps in the videos you're watching now. And that's a really fun moment when you understand and you can be like, I know what that means. So throw yourself into the music and content and really have fun with it. Part of learning a language is being able to open yourself up to new cultures and new experiences and exciting new ideas. So go all in, go all in and have fun. Finally, number 8, speak, speak, speak. Speaking is so important when you're learning a language, and for this, I'm going to specifically talk about HelloTalk, and this is not sponsored. They just are an amazing app and they're free. And it helped me so much in my language learning journey and introduced me to so many of the friends that I have now in Israel. So get on HelloTalk and try to speak. It took me a while to build up the confidence to get on a phone call because I could not understand them and they would have to wait 20 minutes for me to get out a sentence. So I would start with voice notes. And in the HelloTalk app, if someone sends you a voice note, you can play it. Then you can click and get the transliteration, which means how they pronounced it. And you can also get the translation. So if you didn't understand anything or just to check your understanding, you can click on that translation and you'll be able to now pair the audio with being able to see what they said. They can do the same for you. And you can send voice messages in Hebrew. That way you're still practicing speaking rather than typing. But speak as much as you can and try to get on voice calls or even video calls, because if you're able to interact in a real-time spontaneous conversation, it's going to help so much. So just speak, 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 speak. Speaking is so important to learning the language. Try to speak it whenever you can, whenever you have the opportunity. And honestly, learning Hebrew, Israelis are going to be so impressed with you and so happy to help. They're really warm, they're really friendly culture, and a lot of people don't learn Hebrew. I mean, even in Israel, there's communities of people who just speak their language because it's so full of immigrants, especially the Americans. They stick to the English that they know, and so it's meaningful to them that you're putting in the work and effort to learning Hebrew the same way it would be meaningful if someone puts the work and effort into learning your language. And they're so friendly and they're so fun and they're so excited and ready to help. And so even if they're a little fast at first, or you need to ask them to slow down, or you take time to speak, it's okay. It's really okay. They're going to be very impressed with you and go out and get speaking. Another pro of talking to real Israelis on this app is that Hebrew is a language that consists a lot of slang. So what you learn in the classroom or on videos, it's not necessarily going to be spoken Hebrew, but when you interact with people, you're going to start to learn the slang, you're going to start to learn the everyday expressions and the funny jokes and the culture, and you're going to be able to sound more native. And that's it. This is exactly how I would learn Hebrew. If I had to start again from scratch, that would have saved me a lot of time, a lot of headache, and a lot of stumbling around, bumbling around in the dark, not knowing what I was doing. If you follow the tips that I suggest in this video, you will have great results and you will thank yourself later. So yalla, get on it. If you enjoyed this video and found something helpful from it, leave a like, leave a comment what videos you want to see next. And if you're learning Hebrew or want to learn more about Israeli culture, then subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos. I know you're going to be a great Hebrew speaker and I'm excited to start talking to you בעברית. אז יאללה, להתראות, שבוע הבא, same time, same place.